The history of Chanel. When people hear the name Chanel, they often imagine elegance, luxury, and timeless beauty. The image is clear: clean lines, black and white contrast, understated sophistication. But the true story of Chanel is far more complex and far more fascinating than a simple idea of luxury. It is a story of ambition, reinvention, artistic vision, and contradiction. It is also the story of how a woman who began her life in poverty went on to redefine not only how women dressed, but how they expressed themselves through scent. At the center of this story is Coco Chanel, a woman whose influence on both fashion and perfumery remains unmatched even today. From hardship to vision, the early life of Coco Chanel. Gabrielle Chanel, later known to the world as Coco Chanel, was not born into privilege. She was born in 1883 in Saumur, France, into a life of instability and hardship. Her mother worked as a laundress and her father was often absent, moving from place to place in search of work. When her mother died, Chanel was sent to an orphanage run by nuns. It was here in this quiet and disciplined environment that she learned how to sew, a skill that would later become the foundation of her career. But more importantly, it was here that she absorbed a sense of simplicity and restraint. The clean lines, monochrome palettes, and minimal decoration of the convent would later echo in her designs. As a young woman, Chanel did not immediately enter the world of fashion. She worked as a seamstress and briefly attempted a career as a singer in small cafes. It was during this time that she earned the nickname Coco, though the exact origin remains debated. Her life began to change when she formed relationships with wealthy and influential men, including Etienne Balsan and later Arthur Boy Capel. These connections introduced her to a world of luxury she had never known before, but more importantly, they gave her the opportunity to start something of her own. The birth of Chanel, breaking fashion rules. In 1910, Coco Chanel opened her first boutique in Paris selling hats. At the time, women's fashion was dominated by elaborate, restrictive designs, tight corsets, heavy fabrics, and excessive ornamentation. Chanel rejected all of it. Instead, she embraced simplicity. Her hats were elegant but not overly decorated. They reflected a new kind of beauty, one that did not rely on excess. By 1913, she expanded into clothing, introducing garments that would completely disrupt the fashion world. She used jersey fabric, which was traditionally reserved for men's underwear, and turned it into something revolutionary: comfortable, stylish clothing for women. This was not just a design choice, it was a philosophy. Chanel believed that women should be free to move, free to breathe, and free to live without being physically constrained by their clothing. This idea of freedom through simplicity would later become the foundation of her approach to perfume. A changing world, fashion. After World War I, the outbreak of World War I changed everything. Society shifted, and so did the role of women. Practicality became essential, and fashion had to adapt. Chanel was perfectly positioned to respond. Her designs, simple, functional, and elegant, became symbols of modern womanhood. She introduced looser silhouettes, shorter hemlines, and garments that allowed women to move freely. One of her most iconic creations, the little black dress, emerged during this period. Introduced in the 1920s, it transformed black from a color associated with mourning into one of sophistication and versatility. But while Chanel was already reshaping fashion, her most revolutionary contribution was yet to come. 1921. The creation of a legend. In 1921, Coco Chanel made a decision that would change the world of perfumery forever. She partnered with the perfumer Ernest Beau, a former perfumer to the Russian imperial court. But instead of asking for a traditional fragrance, she gave him a challenge that was unlike anything the industry had seen before. She wanted a perfume that did not smell like a single flower. She wanted a perfume that smelled like a woman. At the time, most perfumes were soliflores, simple scents designed to replicate the smell of a single flower like rose or jasmine. They were beautiful but limited. Beau took a radically different approach. He created a complex composition using a combination of natural ingredients and synthetic molecules known as aldehydes. These aldehydes added a sparkling, almost abstract quality to the fragrance, something that had never been experienced before. When he presented Chanel with a series of samples, she chose the fifth one, and so Chanel No. 5 was born. A new language of scent. Chanel No. 5 was not just a perfume, it was a new way of thinking about fragrance. It did not attempt to imitate nature. Instead, it created something entirely new. It was layered, complex, and abstract. It evolved over time, revealing different facets as it interacted with the skin. It was not just something you smelled, it was something you experienced. This marked the birth of modern perfumery. For the first time, a perfume was treated as a composition similar to music or art. It was not about a single note, but about harmony, balance, and structure. The power of simplicity, bottle and identity. Just as revolutionary as the scent itself was its presentation. At a time when perfume bottles were ornate and decorative, Chanel chose a completely different approach. The bottle of Chanel No. 5 was minimal, clear glass, straight lines, and a simple black and white label. It looked almost clinical, like something from a laboratory. But this simplicity was intentional. It reflected Chanel's belief that true luxury did not need to be loud. It could be quiet, refined, and confident. This design became one of the most recognizable in the world and helped establish Chanel's identity as a brand of understated elegance, building an empire, business, and expansion. To bring her perfume to a global audience, Chanel needed more than creativity. She needed infrastructure. She entered into a partnership with Pierre Wertheimer, who had the resources and expertise to produce and distribute the fragrance on a large scale. Together, they established Parfum Chanel. The partnership was successful, but not without tension. Chanel owned only a small percentage of the business, which led to ongoing conflict between her and the Wertheimer family. Despite these challenges, Chanel No. 5 grew rapidly in popularity and became one of the most successful perfumes in history. War, controversy, and survival. The outbreak of World War II brought new challenges. Chanel closed her fashion house, but the perfume business continued. The Wertheimer family, being Jewish, fled to the United States to escape persecution. They worked to ensure that production of Chanel No. 5 could continue, even in exile. In one of the most surprising chapters of the brand's history, the perfume was produced in Hoboken, New Jersey. When Chanel learned of this, she was reportedly outraged, famously saying that it was monstrous. Yet, despite the chaos of war, Chanel No. 5 survived. This resilience only strengthened its legacy. Rebuilding and reinvention. After the war, Chanel returned to the fashion world. Although she faced criticism and controversy due to her actions during the war, she managed to rebuild her brand. Her perfume, however, had already secured its place in history. A defining moment came when Marilyn Monroe publicly declared that she wore nothing to bed except Chanel No. 5. This statement became legendary and propelled the perfume to even greater heights. It was no longer just a fragrance, it was a cultural icon, expanding the world of Chanel fragrance. While Chanel No. 5 remained the centerpiece, the brand continued to expand its fragrance portfolio. New creations explored different facets of femininity and identity. Each fragrance was carefully crafted, maintaining the same principles of complexity, balance, and refinement. Over time, Chanel developed a distinct signature in perfumery, one that emphasized quality, artistry, and emotional depth. The modern era, legacy, and innovation. In 1983, Karl Lagerfeld took over as creative director of Chanel. He played a crucial role in revitalizing the brand and bringing it into the modern era. Under his leadership, Chanel expanded its reach while staying true to its heritage. The fragrance division continued to grow, introducing new scents that appealed to younger generations while maintaining the brand's core identity. Perfumes like Coco, Coco Mademoiselle, and Chance became modern classics, each reflecting a different interpretation of Chanel's timeless elegance. The essence of Chanel perfumery. What sets Chanel apart in the world of perfume is its philosophy. Chanel fragrances are not designed to be simple or obvious. They are meant to be complex, evolving, and deeply personal. They often feature high-quality ingredients sourced from Grasse, the historic center of perfume production in France. They are crafted with precision, blending natural and synthetic elements to create something entirely unique. And most importantly, they are designed to evoke emotion. The story of Chanel is not just about fashion or perfume, it is about transformation. It is about a woman who challenged the norms of her time and created something entirely new. It is about a fragrance that changed the way the world thinks about scent. And it is about a legacy that continues to shape the future of luxury. Nearly a century after its creation, Chanel No. 5 remains one of the most recognized and celebrated fragrances in the world, not because it followed the rules, but because it rewrote them. Thanks for spending a piece of your day with us. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to see what's coming next. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.